Howdy, howdy. Miss Rochford here. We are on segment 4 of our Read Aloud because of Mr. Terupt, the Rabouillet. And we have just had this explosion with Luke's science experiment. Did not go well. It wasn't a big explosion, but enough smoke to set off the fire alarm, the whole school involved. And a big event that came out of that, we know about cause and effect. But that caused the effects of Mr. Terupt having to deal with the fire marshal demanding that their dollar word projects come down. And Mr. Terupt fought for him and said, I'm not taking these papers down, because he knew there's papers up all over the building. And so he stood up for his students. The effects of that was that Jeffrey, who's never involved, doesn't want to be noticed, never liked school, never really excited about anything. He's excited for the first time. A big change that we've seen. It's a turning point, and in Jeffrey, and we're wondering why. So the big deal for Jeffrey was seeing his teacher stick up for him. And another thing was that he stuck up for his project. He was kind of pointing to his project in the hallway, and it wasn't even a good project. And Jeffrey's like, oh man, I didn't even try. It wasn't even a dollar on there. He put stupid, like just to put something down. And so he was starting to feel bad about that. And that's the first time we've seen Jeffrey feel that way. So that was important. So hopefully get in your cozy spot, ready to dig in, and moving back, we're in October of this school year in Snow Hill School in Connecticut, and continuing on, we're going to see what else we can figure out about these characters. Keep your notes going if you can. Again, you might think of things that I haven't even picked up on. We ready? Anna. All right, here we are. I didn't want my plant to die. Oh yeah, remember she was the one that had to be taken in the hallway because she didn't want to mess up the plant. She didn't want the plant to die or anything to happen. She was against the science of messing with the plants. So I didn't want to put it in the box. Everybody was staring at me. I started crying. Mr. Terupt took me out into the hall. Anna, what's wrong? I don't want to kill my plant, I blurted out. My back slid down the hall, and I put my head in my hands. We're not going to kill your plant. Mr. Terupt knelt down in front of me. Yes, you are, I said. If we put it in the box, it's going to kill it. We'll take it out before it dies, he promised. No, I don't want to hurt it. Tell you what, Anna, let's do the experiments that are lined up for your plant. We have to, because Danielle is your partner, and she needs to do the science too. Then, when we're all done, I'll let you take my plant. Our control. The one we don't do anything to. I still didn't like the idea of hurting my plant, but I like the idea of getting the control. I think he saw my hesitation. When you're hesitant about something, it means you don't really want to do it. You're like, should I, should I not? Plus, since you're working with Danielle, I have a feeling that your plant is actually going to be just fine. I don't know Danielle that well. She's never been in my class before. She seems nice. I like her. Sometimes she's friends with Alexia. I don't know why. I've never been in Alexia's class, but I can tell she's mean. All the girls listen to her, though. Katie, Emily, Heather, Natalie, all of them. Not me. I stay away from her. Right, that's pretty important. Jot that down. Stays away from Alexia. So it sounds like she realizes Alexia's drama and stays away from it. That's important. My mom has warned me not to get involved in that popularity stuff. She was ostracized once. That means nobody wanted to be friends with her. Oh my gosh, at first I read ostracized, and I'm like, ostracized? What in the world does that mean? That's a big old word. Then I read on. That means, oh my gosh, I love when I get to a tricky word and then the author defines it right in the next sentence. So I'm glad I used a strategy to read on, because the author has it right there. She was ostracized once. That means nobody wanted to be friends with her. Done. Thank you, author. So that doesn't happen all the time, but it is a strategy to read on and see if it is defined in the next sentence. All right, so her mom was ostracized, was kind of isolated from her friends. None of her friends wanted to be there. So are you wondering why? Her mom, everything we know so far is nice. My mom told me it was like there was a big group of people holding hands in a circle, and she was never let in. She always had to stand outside the circle. Mom doesn't ever want that to happen to me. I can tell that she still hurts from all of it. Even her own parents shunned her. So if it says even her own parents shunned her, I'm thinking shun is like a synonym, a word that means close to the same as ostracized or isolated or kind of wanting to be distanced from her. That's why she quit school shortly after I was born and moved out. She tried to move in with my dad. I've never met him, but that didn't work out. He left. Mom says we can talk about my dad and the whole situation when I'm older. All I know is that she says he's a nice man. My grandma and grandpa, I've never met them either, still don't want anything to do with us. They moved far away after my mom moved out. My mom might be young, but she's still a great mom. She's my best friend, and I love her. If you love someone, you don't quit on them just because they make a mistake. Mr. Terupt helped me stand up. Trust me on this one, he said. Be positive. We headed back into the classroom. My plant went into the box and came out a few days later, a little yellow and without a lot of new growth, but it was alive. Turning it on its side wasn't harmful, so I was okay with that test. And then it was our chance to feed it whatever we wanted. Mr. Terupt was right. Danielle knew what she was doing. Here's a list of things that we could mix together, Danielle said. I read the list. I didn't know everything on it. How did she? My grandmother helped me out with it, she said. She's always been good at growing things. She's the reason we have successful crops on the farm. Both of us brought in some of the ingredients. We mixed them together and fed our plant. Ours was the only one to survive. It turned really green and grew and grew and grew. I took the control home, but Danielle and I decided to leave our plant in school. We kept feeding it, and everyone watched it grow. It grew almost to the ceiling, wrapping itself around the cord to the blinds, all the way up. Then one day, it was knocked over. Somehow, our super duper plant fell off the windowsill. Nobody knows how it happened. I have a pretty good idea, though. I bet Alexia did it, because it happened when she was being nasty to Danielle. I'm thankful that Mr. Terupt let me take the control home. I didn't want her to hurt that one, too. I like being Danielle's partner. I wonder now if Mr. Terupt knew what he was starting between me and Danielle. I wonder. All right. This was a lot about Anna. If you're taking your own notes, I hope you are. You probably just wrote a whole lot of stuff, right? Okay, I gotta dig back in. We gotta go back to our chapters and dig back in and see what we got here. All I know is he was in my. We learned all about her family, right? Her mom, she said a whole lot about. This ostracized thing came up over and over. So that means nobody wanted to be friends with her. So it sounds like mom lost all her friends, her parents, which is Anna's grandparents, and and Anna's dad. And so she moved out. It says it was when she was 16 and pregnant with me. So she was pretty young when she had Anna, and it sounds like that's why she lost everybody. And she's been a great mom. So, and Anna knows nothing else about her dad. All right, that's a lot. That's a lot. Let's jot some of these things down. She's green. Let's see. Proud of mom. Mom. Ostracized. If you want to write that big, great word, it is Ostracized. When 16 and had Anna. So she had Anna at 16. Mom dropped out of school and she lost her parents and Anna's dad. Lost parents. Here's our and sign again. Okay, so it sounds like she had to make some decisions there. She had Anna on the way, and so she decided to take this route of being the great mom. And so she dropped out of school, and that made her parents shun her, ostracize her. She lost all her friends, and became this really great mom. And so Anna doesn't know her dad, and that's a whole lot of things here. Anna likes being Danielle's partner. That's another piece we see here is a friendship forming. And she says she wonders if Mr. Terupt knew what he was doing when he put her with Danielle. Because this is something new, because so far everyone's been making fun of Danielle. So this is a different part of it here. So like being Danielle's partner. Gets kind of complicated. I wish we had some like strings and connect all the webs that were happening between these relationships. Because she also blamed Alexia for knocking over the plant. She got the control plant to take home, but the one in the room that was growing and growing and growing got knocked over. So you can imagine how everybody was feeling after they've seen this great success story. Plants growing towards the ceiling and then it gets knocked over. We're just getting to the start of that story. But she blames Danielle because she said she was being mean to Danielle. She blames Alexia because she said Alexia was being mean to Danielle. So we're going to see. Let's read on. Who's next? Who is next with this plant deal? Jessica. Okay, so, all right, new student, nervous, she was quiet. Dad's in California, Dad writes plays, here we are, and sure enough, Jessica, Act 2, Scene 1. Let's see. My daily routine included lunch with Alexia and the girls, minus Danielle and Anna. They sat alone, and then recess. Alexia found it funny to see how upset Danielle would get. Right about this same time, I was finishing the book Belle Teal. I loved Belle. I wanted her to be my friend. She was honest and courageous. What would Belle do in my shoes? That was easy. She would do the right thing. And doing the right thing meant giving someone a chance. Danielle didn't seem like anything like Alexia made her out to be. I decided it was time to talk to Danielle, find out for myself. Act 2, Scene 2. I set out to find Danielle the next day at recess. I spotted her from a distance. She was drawing in the dirt with a stick. Hi, Danielle, I said as I approached, clutching my latest book, Where the Red Fern Grows, close to me. What do you want? She shot back, jabbing her stick too hard into the ground, causing it to snap in half. She turned away. Sounded like she was crying. Are you okay? I walked closer. No, Lexi's being really mean to me, and it's all your fault. She threw her sticks onto the ground. My fault? She blamed me? Why didn't I see this coming? It made perfect sense. I was a new girl, and my arrival pushed her out of the group. I'm sorry, I said. I stood there. I wanted to be back in California anyway. I missed my dad. Danielle began scratching pictures in the dirt with her finger. I'm sorry I said that. It's not your fault. I sat down. It's just that Lexi's ignoring me, talking about me, saying mean stuff, Danielle went on. She doesn't sit with me at lunch. She's not playing with me. And now all the other girls are doing the same thing. They always do what Alexia says. Anna's the only one who's still nice, and I'm not supposed to be friends with her. Why not? I asked. My family, especially my grandma, thinks she's a bad influence. I don't get it. My mom and dad used to be friends with her grandparents and... You mean her parents? I interrupted. No, her grandparents. Danielle stopped moving the dirt and sat up to explain. My mom and dad are 47. They had my older brother, Charlie, when they were 20. The same time Anna's grandparents had Anna's mother. They were all friends at church and that's how they knew each other. Charlie's 27. So is Anna's mom, 27 too. And Anna's 11, I said, quickly putting all the pieces together. So that means her mom was 16 when Anna was born. That's right, Danielle said. And that's why your family, especially your grandmother, thinks Anna's a bad influence? I asked. Yes, Danielle said. I think they figure Anna will be like her mother, and that's not the type of people churchgoers should associate with. I didn't like what I was hearing. None of it seemed fair to Anna, but I wanted to learn more about her mother's story. What happened after Anna was born? I'm not sure, Danielle said. I just know that it's only Anna and her mother now. None of that's her fault, I said matter-of-factly. Danielle nodded. She bent forward and started drawing in the dirt again. I decided not to push it anymore. She seemed upset by it too. I'll play with you, I said. You will? The hint of a smile spread its way across Danielle's dirt-streaked, teary face. Sure, and I won't listen to Alexia. I slid Where the Red Fern Grows off to the side and dug into the earth with my finger. I know that book. My grandma read it to me. It's very good, I said. Everybody always likes a character with a dog. That's something my dad told me. It's a sad story, Danielle said. But I won't tell you what happens. Please don't. We can talk about it when I get done, though. Sure, she said, shrugging her shoulders. We sat next to each other, scratching pictures in the dirt until the whistle sounded. Recess was over. We stood and brushed ourselves off. That was when I saw Danielle's dirt sketch of 2 dogs. That's a great picture, Danielle. Thanks, she said. I liked Danielle. There were a lot of interesting things to learn about her. I could tell. I grabbed my book and we headed toward the building. Then I saw Anna wandering over by herself. I wondered if she wanted to be a loner, or did she want friends? Why did she try so hard to be invisible? Was she embarrassed by her family situation? And how many people actually knew all that stuff about her mother? All right, here we are. We got some more things. There's one more act here to read, but we're gonna stop because there's so much. Okay, that was Jessica. Dad writes plays, so she's here writing. She wants to become friends with Danielle. So we got to add that to Danielle too. Becomes friendly with Danielle. You can put it in your own words, of course. Becomes friendly with Danielle. We learned that Danielle is supposed to stay away from Anna just because of what her family thinks. They're big churchgoers, and her grandmother thinks she needs to stay away from people like Danielle. She thinks Anna's a bad influence. I mean, like Anna, sorry. So, family wants her to stay away. Now, Jessica's already seeking first to understand. She's like, Anna has nothing to do with her mom 16 years ago. So, not 16 years ago, but when she was 16. And Danielle's kind of realizing that, but she's also stuck in a situation with her family where she's got to be obedient to her family and what they value. So, she's kind of getting stuck into that. Let's hear this last act here from Jessica. Act 2, Scene 3. I was walking with Danielle when all of a sudden she rushed ahead and hurried inside. Looking up, I found out why. Alexia was right in my face. Like, what are you doing? I thought I told you not to be friends with her. Alexia's head jerked from side to side as she talked. It reminded me of a bobblehead. You guys know those bobbleheads. She blocked my way, her hands on her cheetah-patterned hips. There's nothing wrong with Danielle. Besides, I can play with whomever I want, I said. Fine, then you're not my friend anymore, Alexia said. She knocked Where the Red Fern Grows out of my hands. Then she whipped around and stomped inside. I wasn't upset, but I'm not stupid either. I knew Alexia was going to make my life miserable. That was her game, and she was good at it too. Still, I had no clue how bad things would really get. Oh, when authors put that at the end of the chapter, they're just like giving you some warning of what is going to happen. So we know that Alexia is this is not good. When Alexia ain't happy, that's going to be some bad news. So, and we kind of already know somebody knocked over the plant, and Anna's blaming Alexia. So we don't really all know what's going on. But here, Alexia already told Jessica that she didn't want to be friends with her anymore. So we need to say here, angry at Jessica. For being friends with Danielle. And I think it's important here to know that Jessica is now realizing she needs to stay away from Alexia. Beginning of the chapter, she was eating lunch with her and kind of doing what Alexia said. Now she's learning the ropes and realizes that Alexia might be trouble. And so learns to, there's that word avoid again, stay away from. I'm going to say Lexi, her nickname. Alexia, Lexi, same girl. Drama, drama, drama. So, again, the plot is getting thicker and thicker and thicker as we keep on going on. We still don't know who knocked over this plant and why that's a big deal, but I'm thinking we're going to learn this next time. Thanks again for tuning in, and stick with me as we continue our story. I hope you guys are doing so well. Can't wait to see you guys in person. But until then, at least we're enjoying some good books together. Until next time, guys, lead on.